Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Rational Red channel. My name is Michael. Today is Thursday, the 15th of Jan. Please remember to hit that subscribe button so you get notified of all the new videos that come out. I am available all day, so I try and release stuff as it happens so you hear it first. And speaking of which, as I just hit the record button, a nice little update from Laurie Whitwell is basically confirming via The Athletic that the Glazers are flying in to have an executive meeting with Jim Ratcliffe to talk about things that are going on at the moment, the sacking of Ruben Amorim, the clearly turbulent times with the fan base, and they also want to have a chat with Michael Carrick. Now, obviously, this could have been a planned business meeting anyway, but I think with the United is broken hashtag trending, albeit only recently, and the well-planned protest that's been known for a little while on the 1st of Feb with Fulham. I think it's fairly logical to say that a big part of this meeting is going to be about how they're going to deal with the fan unrest and everything that's going on. And so they should. I mean, you know, I think things are at a turbulent place. Like we go through these cycles where people get fed up, things happen, protests can happen. Unfortunately, by and large, things don't really come off the back of it. I know in 2022, they did decide to open the doors to potential investment or entertain a full sale if the value was right. And, you know, if you look what was happening before that, there were protests, there was fan unrest. So protests can instigate change. I think, unfortunately, though, the real change that everybody wants, a protest isn't enough. And I've said this before, and a lot of other people say that share the same sentiment. You know, when you're dealing with billionaire businessmen, and especially when you're talking about the Glazer family, they don't give a shit about Man United as a football club. They care about Man United as a business that they can extract money from. And if you really want to make change, if you really want to get rid of owners like that, then you have to take away the one thing that they're only sticking around for, and that's the money. So if that means emptying Old Trafford, I mean, could you imagine Old Trafford was emptied for a game? Like, there was literally hardly any. Like, imagine that, you know, 1,000 people went because they've come from China and, like, they don't want to miss a game. Poor people. I mean, that would be a terrible experience for them. But the difference, the message that would send if there was an empty Old Trafford, they're the things, and they are big. It takes a huge concerted effort, but they're the sort of changes or things you need to do to really invoke change, to really send a powerful message. The protests are all well, and the idea behind them is completely positive. The word escapes what I'm thinking of, but the idea behind them, the sentiment is there. The idea behind them is that they have the right ideas, 100%. But they're just, you know, with your placards and shouting a few hurty words, these people are not going to care. They're literally just not going to care because it's all about this. We take some of this away, then they will care. So, interesting that they're coming in for this meeting. The timing of it could be completely coincidental because obviously there is a lot of changes going on. But I also think it's good for us as the fans because whilst I do say that protests might not get the full change that we want, things are at a turbulent point that I've not seen for quite a while. Like, they've been bad before. I feel like something is different this time. It's worse than it's ever been in terms of the fan unrest and people wanting change. And whilst I don't think a protest by itself is going to get enough of a change, I do feel that the noise currently is loud enough and the friction is strong enough that something is going to come off the back of this. I don't know what it is and I don't know to what extent, but I just feel like this time something feels a little different, and I feel like we are going to, like, usually what you get is like some sort of positive spin. Oh, we'll just give them some extra money to spend on players, keep them happy, and sadly, more often than not, the noise dies down and everyone goes back to trying to enjoy the football until the next big thing kicks off. But just something about this one feels a little different, and I don't quite know what that is. But clearly something has to change. Something is going to have to give, because I feel like the fans at the moment are at tipping point, and it's going to take one more bad decision that affects the club financially, affects the fans mentally. And what I mean by that is this is an emotional roller coaster. We're frustrated. We are annoyed that the club of our stature has been so poorly run and so poorly managed over the years that we just live off history. That's literally all we've got left in the tank, the history. The current version of Manchester United is a complete, like, shadow of its former self, which is desperately sad. And fans are desperately sad about that. And all it would take is some good leadership to redirect us back to where we want to be. So we will see. But moving on So, a couple other things that have come up in the news then. So, we heard quite a while now, the rhetoric was there's going to be no transfers, no one's coming in, no one's going out, even though they tried to dump 65 million on Semenyo. So, there was some money floating around. Whatever's happened to that, I've no idea. But in general, the rhetoric was, got to deal with what you got to deal with, and that is that. Well, according to today, that has changed a little bit. Number one, which is quite large news, Bruno Fernandes was reported a couple of days ago as saying that he is sick of the hierarchy, sick of what's going on, and he wanted out. Which, look, we all know that Saudi Arabia was well on the radar a couple of weeks ago. Last summer. Ruben was instrumental in him staying. And, you know, even Bruno came out and kind of talked a bit of smack about the ownership model, saying didn't feel like he was wanted, etc. And nothing really came of that. So I think it's logical that he was going to leave probably this summer anyway. But given what's happened with Ruben, it's no surprise whatsoever that he's like, I'm done. This place is a mess. However, that being said, Simon Stone reports today that Bruno Fernandes is not planning to seek a move away from the club this month. I think this month is the key bit there. So he looks like he'll be sticking around, but he doesn't want to leave right now. But in the summer, I think he'll go. One of the key things about Bruno leaving is not the fact that he's leaving or wants to leave. I've got no problem with that. Like, he's been an excellent servant to our club. And it's interesting as well, because you do have a bit of divide. You've got some people like, no, get him out, he doesn't do it well enough or whatever. But then when we don't have him, you can clearly see how much we need him. So his value to the team, I think, is invaluable. But with him going in the summer, if he goes, which I think he will, it's who you replace him with. And the only reason why that gives me the jitters is because we have people that don't particularly have a good history of making the right appointments. So his replacement is crucial, because as we've seen when Bruno's not in the team, we really miss him. If he's going to leave the team permanently, then that replacement that comes in has got some big shoes to fill. And if they don't get that appointment right, then I dread to think how much of a slippery slope we're going to go further down until we start to find some kind of semblance and balance. So that's one thing. Also, apparently, Roma are still hot on the heels of Joshua Zirkzee. They really want to try and sign him. United are still of the stance of, well, he can potentially go if somebody comes in to replace him. Also, apparently, according to Marco Conterio, Harry Maguire could be moving to Serie A this month. Inter Milan, Napoli and Fiorentina are among many clubs in Italy seriously evaluating him. Maguire has opened up to a transfer into Italy. I mean, if he went to Napoli, I mean, what is this with Napoli? They're going to be like United 2.0. They're going to get loads of our ex-players in there who are doing really well, and they're just going on a mad one. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I think we'd suffer without Harry Maguire. Like, I've got nothing but respect for him, despite all the crap that he got. Never reacted. He just got his head down. His comeback will be talked about for years to come, because he just got on with it. He's given us some memorable nights. But his quality, his leadership, his maturity in the team is difficult to come by. So whilst he will have to go on eventually, he's getting a bit older. I think if he does go this summer, I think we're really going to miss him, unless, of course, we get somebody else steps up to that level of who he is in the squad, etc. But of course, eventually players have to move on. It's just who they replace him with. Same with the Bruno situation. Also, speaking of transfers, apparently, according to the reports coming out this morning, we may actually be in the market for a new left back. I guess time will tell with that. I mean, this is the thing with the stories. You got to take every single one of them with a pinch of salt. I mean, I've seen it so many times where I did a TikTok on it actually as well a few months ago. There was a story about Bruno Fernandes. I've forgotten what it was at the time, and there was one version of the story on the timeline, and then literally the post right beneath it completely contradicted it. So it just kind of highlights the vast majority of the stories you see. You've got to take every single one of them with a pinch of salt. I mean, until it actually happens, or it comes out from your Ornsteins or your Romanos or maybe a Ben Jacobs. Unless you hear it from one of the top tier ones, just take everything with a pinch of salt. It's transfer season is the season of bullshit. I could literally sit here now and go, rumours reporting that Aiden Heaven wants 150 grand a week or he's moving away. I would just completely make it up. No substance, no fact checking. I could just put it out there and it becomes a topic of conversation. That's how Wild West it is. So yeah, take all your information with a pinch of salt. But there we go. Apparently we may be getting some transfer movement this market. I just also saw as well another one about João Gomez at Wolves. Apparently he's been caught on camera saying that he really loves Man United, and apparently now they may try and enter the race to get in. Let me see if I can find it. They were up against a few different people, and they were looking to see if they could maybe enter the race and get him turn his head a little bit. If I can find it in a bit, I'll come back to it. So yeah, that's in terms of what's going on with inside incomings and outgoings. Regarding, oh, hang on, what's this? Oh, this is another quote from The Athletic. It will be the first time Joel and Avram Glazer have visited the new main building at United's training ground with the cost of blah, blah, blah. The Exco meetings typically take place every month, featuring members of the club's hierarchy and football directors, but this one takes on added importance given the sense of turmoil at United in the wake of Amram's sudden departure. So there you go, yes, I thought that as much. In terms of signings this month, so it's come out that Wilcox has apparently told the players that this season, for the remainder of this season, with Carrick on board, this is before transfer news came out, that the target they expect is Champions League. Now, I find that relatively remarkable, given that you put a target. Now, obviously, this is relatively speculative. I can't remember if I can find the thing. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. I think it's if I can find the link to it. Who wrote about it? Yeah, here we go. Oh, it's The Athletic. All right. So Monday, Jason Wilcox met with the Manchester United squad. He stressed to the players that appointing the right caretaker manager is crucial and made it clear that qualifying for the Champions League is the target for the rest of the season. Now, whilst I admire the optimism massively, because I'd love to see that too, on balance, let's look at it. The only time we only got into fourth position was when our game had started and no one else has had. And then by the time the week had finished, we'd dropped back down to 5th or 6th or 7th. We've never actually stayed in 4th position this season, as far as I can remember. And that was also during a time where we were been working on a system for quite some time. Yes, we'd lost some players to AFCON and whatnot, but in general, we've been working on a system for some time. There was a plan that we were consistently working on and trying to improve on. And we still struggled to get top 4 and nail it and solidify it. So to then put the target on an interim manager who is now going to play a system that we've not been doing for over a year, and obviously at a time when there's a lot of morale's quite low, there's a lot of negativity, things are a little bit difficult. To then put a target in that we struggled to get when we had some kind of process, to then do that now when everything's all over the place seems a little... Oh, and also as well, when the idea of not strengthening the squad is like high on the agenda. I mean, I know stories have come out today saying that they might get a new left back, but again, I take all that with a pinch of salt. We've known for a while they don't want to spend any money. So to then put that kind of target on Carrick, I think is... I don't know. Are you setting him up to fail? Are you like putting undue pressure? Like, you should have... you should be saying, no, we should be going for that. I'm fully in support of the idea behind it, but have you given him the tools to make it happen is essentially what I'm saying. It seems a little bit wide of the mark in terms of where we are right now, what's been going on. To put that kind of target on him when we haven't been doing that previously, and people go, yeah, it's because I'm in the football was shit. Say what you want about that period of time. The point was, everybody was working to the same hymn sheet. Everyone was singing off the same hymn sheet. Everyone was working to the same goal. Now it's all been thrown into a bit of chaos. So you put that target back in place when it's chaotic. I think it's a lot. Also, as well as coming out, interestingly, so the Carrick appointment. So obviously, in the run-up to this, a lot of people assumed it would be Ollie. According to Andy Mitten, Ollie was never knocking on their door saying, I'll do it for free, I'll do all this. United apparently approached him. Ollie was well up for it. One of the reasons why Ollie didn't get it was because where's it gone? This is from Rob Dorsett. I was told when Ollie met with Jason, he understandably to a large extent said, if I do a good job and get you Champions League football, what is the reward? I'd like something written into my contract that says if I achieve that, then there is a substantive contract at the end of it. No such request from Michael Carrick. Significantly, he has played a blinder here and managed to situate him very, very well. So think about that. So essentially what Ollie is looking to say is, if I do well, I want another crack at it. I want to get another contract. I want to go again. we've been down this route before. One of the main reasons why I think Ollie worked last time was not just because of Ollie by himself. His man management is like, we don't need to dispute that. But it was Ollie's team around him that really helped things go the way they did to begin with. And I didn't think he would have a lot of that. And the idea of then sinking another 2 or 3 years into another manager who we've failed with before, it's like Jose at like Chelsea, you know, doesn't always work. You get the little bounce, everyone's excited, but then same shit happens again. And I can't see why it'd be any different with Ollie. Carrick, on the other hand, has apparently come and said, I only want to stay here for the interim period, regardless of what the results are. It's obvious that if it goes well, there is going to be rumblings and talk of give him the job full time. But is that really the right thing to do? Is it really the best solution going forward? Are we just doing an Ollie 2.0? Because what I actually think is better here is Carrick uses this as an audition to the rest of the Premier League to go, look, this is what I did in 6 months at Man United. I don't want to stay there full time, but I can come to you full time and I can implement the same things. Because look, if you can make it work in 5 months at Man United with all the pressure and all the shit show that's going on now, then surely if you go to another Premier League team where there's tremendously less pressure, but you can bring that ability to the table, I think that is a great opportunity to potentially go audition yourself for some jobs and, you know, get a longer term contract. Because I think the Man United job is pretty tainted at the moment, and especially if you're an ex-player, you get a little bit of a pass, but ultimately we're at a stage now where a lot of people would largely agree we need a manager who has been in the Prem and he's got receipts. Now, I know Ancelotti had a stint with Everton. You can only work with the tools that you've got. Generally speaking, I think we really need to go for a manager who is Premier League proven to some degree. I know De Zerbi's name's come up. I was unsure about De Zerbi. The problem you got with De Zerbi and Tuchel and Ancelotti for that matter is these are not yes people. You are not going to get best in class and then say, oh, it's all right. So I know you're best in class at what you do. That's why I re-attracted you. However, Jason here, see what I mean? It's not going to work. If they want a yes man, then they're going to have to forget some of these managers that they're potentially putting on a shortlist, because these people don't win Champions Leagues by being a yes man. They win them because they have the mentality at the top level to win. And unfortunately, as much as Jason Wilcox may have the right intentions to get United back to where we want to be in his own way, micromanaging or man-managing world-class managers is not going to work. It's just not going to happen. I can't see it. I don't get that. Does not make Man United an attractive prospect. If, however, they renege on that and go, yeah, we'll get in. You do you. Like, this is why we're getting you. You do your thing. You've got all the credentials to suggest we can just leave you to it. Then great. I personally would probably look at Ancelotti. The age thing, I mean, 67 in this modern day is not that old really, but when you're looking at a long-term project, you know, he would be looking, I'd imagine, at retiring in the not too distant future after that. So that's the only issue, but I think Ancelotti would be a great appointment. I wanted him before Ten Hag. De Zerbi, I did a bit of research on De Zerbi yesterday, so he finished 6th with Brighton. His 2 years at Brighton, although the second year didn't go as planned, which is contextually, there's reasons, they sold some great players. Caicedo went off to Chelsea. He lost some players. They didn't reinvest correctly, and he didn't get the re-strengthening of the squad that he needed. And I think they sacked him at 10th or 11th. But his 2 years there is largely considered a resounding success because he got them European football. He plays attacking football. He does play a back three a lot, though. He does easily adapt to a back four, but he does play a back three quite a lot. But he plays good attacking football. But you've got one of the big issues again. It's the character. He's confrontational. He'll say his piece. We've just sacked a manager with loads of potential in general because he speaks his mind. But who else spoke the mind? Ronaldo spoke the mind. Ten Hag, well, Ten Hag wasn't really saying too much. Ralph, he spoke his mind. You know, these aren't people who are going to be allowed to stick around if you speak out against the hierarchy. So you think De Zerbi is going to keep his mouth shut if he's been told how to coach his team via Jason Wilcox? No, it's never going to work. So I don't know. But Carrick, I don't think he's going to stick around beyond the interim period. I think once this is done and dusted, I think you'll see him go. And he'll probably, like I say, use this as an opportunity for other Prem teams that are looking for a manager to do a bit of window shopping and see how he does. And if he does well, it's great all round. We obviously want to finish the season strong, definitely get a European spot. Our squad is capable of getting a European spot. Like, I know there's been a lot of ups and downs and turmoil, but fundamentally, this squad is good enough for a European spot. Our attacking trio is fantastic. We've got loads going on there. We've got, obviously, the midfield is weak. But if they adopt now to a 4-2-3-1, we can mix things up a little bit. And obviously, I think, in time, once he's put his tactics into play and he's starting to get it and getting used to a different system again, then I think things will start to come good. Which I actually did a video on TikTok yesterday about the City game. I think one of the issues we've got right now is not who is the manager. I think the issue we've got right now is our biggest adversity, our biggest obstacle is low morale. It's the dark cloud that's over Old Trafford. That's what you need to break through. And if they can get a result against City on Saturday, I'm telling you, I think that will be such a tremendous boost in the right direction. Because obviously after that we go away to Arsenal. I mean, it's sad times when you already feel like, just please don't batter us at Arsenal. But you get a good win at City, you galvanise the team, they go full of confidence. They'll go to Arsenal feeling a little bit differently. But at the moment, like the last couple of games we've seen, they're just a lot of lost souls. It just wasn't working. So the City game is important, but you can't put undue pressure on them because of everything that's going on. Well, you can put pressure on them, but you know what I mean? It's like, we can't, like, you should be winning this game. It's like, right now, we can't even beat Wolves. Like, so it's, what should we be doing? So we'll see how that pans out. Anyway, moving on. Next thing that I wanted to talk about. Talked about the manager situation. VAR, right. So obviously VAR comes up quite a lot. Every single week we see on Ref Watch, or we see Michael Howard, Howard Webb, sorry, trying to defend referees, just mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. The thing with VAR that we always need to remember, VAR is not the problem. It's just a little bit of instant replay technology. That's it. The technology is not the problem. It's always the people running the technology. Mercedes don't need to banish all their cars because sometimes they speed and crash into another car. You banish the driver of the car because they're the problem, not the car. It's the person driving the car. No different with VAR. And it's like, I don't know how these referees, they don't really play the game, so they've studied the game, all the rules, that how they can get so many decisions wrong. We ask for consistency, we see it week. This is why people talk about conspiracies and match fixing and stuff, because sometimes it's like, how have you got that wrong? How? And you've got the world watching, and everybody else is like, that makes no sense. Then Howard Webb comes out, no, I don't know how he's done that. But yet these are people that understand the rules of the game to a T, and they've made the mistake. And it's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. So obviously, every single week, you hear the same narrative, scrap VAR, scrap it. And then recently, we've had, with the City game, took 5.5 minutes to come to a decision. Everyone's saying, this is the problem. If it is clear and obvious, why is it taking so long? So the very nature of it taking so long means it isn't clear and obvious, so move on. But you're contradicting yourself by your own rule set. So the way I see it is, be careful what you wish for, because whilst I get fed up of it all the time, I also pretty much am confident in saying that if they scrapped VAR, and if your team lost a match that could potentially lead to a European place or whatever, because a referee missed something, you are going to be furious. Would you then prefer VAR to be in the situation? So, in my opinion, the balance of it is not that VAR itself needs to be scrapped, but how it's used and who is using it needs a massive, massive overhaul. Because I don't want to lose out in a Champions League spot, or I want to lose out, we're not in any cup runs, so it doesn't matter to us, but if we were in a cup run, I don't want to lose out in going to a quarter-final or a semi-final or a final because VAR was scrapped, or if it's Premier League and you need the points to stay up, you're going to get relegated, but no VAR, and a terrible mistake was made. Like, we lived that life once upon a time. We got over it. But now we've had a life where we've had the VAR and we can see it can correct mistakes. We know that, well, yeah, we'd rather still have it corrected if we can. So, in my opinion, it's not the VAR needs to be scrapped. It literally is just a bit of instant replay. The people that control it needs a tremendous overhaul. And the rules in which it's used also needs a tremendous overhaul, because this, like, assistant referee stuff's not working. Assistant of the AI with the offside. I mean, how is it taking so long? Things are meant to be brought in to be quicker. It just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting topic of conversation, but I do think that if you are going to want change, don't get rid of the system completely, because it can serve a good purpose. Get rid of the people that are running it and get the rules changed and how it's run. So, that's my little take on that. I think we're done. Yeah, that's it. We're done. What time are we on now? Yeah. Got everything covered. So that'll cover it for today. There's a few other bits and pieces that'll come out during the course of the day that I might report on later tonight, or I'll probably just leave it till tomorrow for them to build up and talk about. Have yourself a great day, and I'll speak to you on the next one.